So you've probably heard of nomadic living, or people who roam the earth, but what if I told you that nomadic lifestyles were coming back in the form of digital nomads?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm the founder and creator of the 5foottraveler. It is a travel blog dedicated to luxury and budget travel, cultural immersion, and adventure activities around the world. I not only work with brands around the world, but I also teach other people how they too can become a travel blogger and digital nomad. So how did I get started with being a digital nomad? Well, I studied abroad my final semester of university. I was down in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I traveled every single weekend. And I was just like, wow, like I have to make this part of my lifestyle. And so I walked out of my last final of college, and I went and saw the salt flats in Bolivia, and I trekked through Patagonia, and I spent Christmas in Antarctica, and then I went to Rio for New Year's, and then I came home, and like every other person that goes to college is expected, I went on job interviews. I went to multiple job interviews in New York City, and I got offered just about every single job that I applied for. But the thing is, they only offered me about $27,000, $28,000 a year. And that included, working more than a 9-to-5, being available on weekends, and working towards somebody else's dream. And I was just like, that's not happening. My time is far more valuable than that. So I decided, I'm gonna pick up, I'm gonna start seeing more of the world, and I'll see what's gonna happen with this. And so I grew my travel blog, and I started working with various brands to sort of showcase them and review their companies, review their hotels, and start getting my name out there a little bit. And that was 4 years ago now. I am still traveling full time, and I've officially made it a career. And so each and every day I wake up knowing that I am pursuing my dreams and not somebody else's. Is it hard to stay on top of your work? Well, the thing you have to realize is that you are your own boss, so you are responsible for your schedule every single day. If you are not going to be disciplined, then yeah, staying on top of your work is going to be really, really hard. But if you are motivated and eager and happy to be in charge of your own schedule, then it's easy. Of course, you do need working Wi-Fi in order to be a digital nomad. And if your Wi-Fi goes out, or if you're in an area where there isn't great service, it definitely makes your life a bit more difficult. But as long as you have semi-decent Wi-Fi, working online is as easy as it gets. I make sure that I do schedule my days a little bit. I try to work about an hour, hour and a half before breakfast, and about another hour, hour and a half after dinner, because I like to spend the rest of my days traveling and exploring and doing what I love. And so that's the schedule I make for myself, and that's the schedule I try to help others make as well. But of course, like I said, you're your own boss. You could decide what you want to do and when you want to do it. But the thing you have to remember is obviously you are responsible for your own income as well if you don't have a boss. And a lot of people think that when you're on the road, having steady income isn't easy or has to be difficult. And the thing is, as long as you are plugged into the right program or the right system, or you have the right mentorship or guidance, it's not half as difficult as everybody says. I have learned how to set my business pretty much on autopilot. Favorite travel memory? Oh my gosh, that is such a difficult question to ask. It definitely has to be polar plunging in Antarctica on Christmas Day. Once I finished college down at NYU in Buenos Aires, I took off to go to Antarctica by myself for Christmas. And on Christmas Day, it was really heavily snowing, and there were really high winds, and we were told to strip down out of our 6 layers into our bathing suits so that we could go polar plunging in the very icy, very cold Antarctic waters. And so next thing you know, I just remember myself, peeling off all my layers and running on ground that's covered in snow into the water, submerging myself, and just feeling my entire body freeze up. And then, being as not so graceful as I am, I then tripped and fell and submerged myself a second time. And while it was an absolutely ridiculous experience, it's definitely something I will never forget. It's a story for the kids and the grandkids and everybody else as I grow older, that's for sure. It was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience, to say the least. And that's one of the most amazing things about travel is you create all of these incredible memories that you just want to share. You want to share with others. You want to see other people experiencing. It's so fulfilling, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
With social media becoming such a normalized part of our lives, millennials have found a way to use platforms to create profits that support them traveling full-time. These digital nomads found that they could support their traveling habits by writing reviews for resorts, paid photography, creating personalized small businesses, becoming brand ambassadors, and receiving sponsorships from travel companies. People got creative and found that traveling full-time while being paid is possible.